Alrighty, Doctor from North America and confused. Now you see me here every day. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. But you see me here every day. And, you can see our math is 85 to 90% of the time right for decades. Okay? And we live and die by our charts. We always say it. And, we do a live broadcast with live charts and basically, like I said, live and die by the charts without a doubt. And in this case here, am I started? I guess not. Let's try this. Oh, there we are. I am started, but I'm not listening. That's what it is. There we go. Okay. So, we say we live and die by the charts and the math all the time. But right now, this election thing is very confusing to me. I don't understand. And I'm going back to 2020. I'm very confused. How does a sitting president lose the election with more votes in the history of a sitting president? And how does Mr. Biden win the election with more votes than Barack Obama by like 9, 10, I think it's with 11 million more votes? None of it makes any sense to me anymore. And, it does make some sense. I understand, but people don't want to hear the reason what I'm seeing. So, I think we're going to see a majority change, but it's nowhere near what all the math was saying, and that's what's confusing to me. That is what's really confusing to me. So, because I said I was looking for a super majority, and all the math seemed to justify that. The way we put our math into what I call servo-cybernetics. In other words, into flow charts and into systems. Basically the way Parsegan did, the creator of flow charts in a social dynamic system. So, I see it. I understand it, but I don't agree with the math. That's the thing. I agree with the math, and the math is telling me that this is not supposed to be this way. So there are other influences that are going on in our electoral system that's confusing things. That's the only way I can look at it and see it. So just, in other words, we live and die by our math, and we said that we thought we were going to see super majorities, and we thought, it was going to be pretty clear cut. I knew it was going to be challenging on some level. In other words, it wasn't going to be instant, but it's not what it should be. And you can see the markets. You can see there's the dollar index this morning. The dollar index is up a little bit, which is a surprise since not a surprise, but it was on a downtrend. You can see it here, and it's still in a downtrend. You can see we're in a daily sell. We're playing with the weekly sell. But we just saw that the mortgage rates in the States jumped to 7.17. And so the math said things were going to work a certain way, and they didn't. And you can see it in the financial system. Now, Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 125 points. That's just background noise as far as I'm concerned. In other words, the markets are indecision. In other words, they're not reflecting the election yet. They're not reflecting the election. Right now, they're reflecting that they're waiting for more results. And we expect to see a change in power, but nothing what we expected to see. And it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out now. So, anyway, good morning again from America. And good evening somewhere, and good afternoon somewhere. So let's go further into it. You see on J4X, you see it's still, it's obviously the second red bar. It's minus. And you can see the green line. Let's see if we can move this up a little bit like that. You can see the green line piercing down on the J4X. So you can see that pressure. But at the same time, we see the raw on the right side there. We can see that's moving up. And obviously, just run over to it real quick. I'm sure the euro is down. And it is. It's down a little bit. But we're still in a buy for a fourth day. And you can see the strength on the weekly and so forth. It's at this point, it's not really clear how the numbers will play out. Just that it looks like we've taken the majorities. That's all. But it's not going to be anything as powerful as we were hoping for. Huh. So that's where we're at the moment. We'll just keep on rolling along and rolling with the homies. All right, from there, let's put J4X, put the euro up on J4X. And you can see right there, 4 solid days on the move of the upside, same as we have on J4X there, with the euro there. And just we're still seeing the strength in the currencies, the pairs trades. And again, I'm trying to warn you: is be careful, because we have not seen yet, I think, the market interpreted into this. So there's how Bitcoin, and we'll look at Bitcoin a little later on. We don't usually watch the future as much as we watch that, the stock side of it. But yesterday, I guess there was I read a little bit about it. Robin says, "Almost, are you here?" Oh, okay. And so the Bitcoin really took it on the chin. It was down about, I guess, 15%, something like that. And it was down into the 17s, and this morning I did see it even down harder. I guess we take a peek at that now. Let's just take a look at it. There we go. And there's the Bitcoin. It's still backing off. Didn't take out yesterday's low, but it's still backing off. Let's put it up on J4X. And you can see it right there. You can see the low has not been changed from yesterday. In other words, it's a little bit higher. It's a little of a bounce on the crypto. So, again, they driven it down to about 17. Now I guess it's, what is that? Is that up? Is that what that is? No, it's still down. But they didn't settle it. Yesterday they settled it at, I want to say, $18,080 with a low of $16,800. That's like a $1,200 move difference from the low to the close. And you can see they're pushing it down just about $500 or $600. Close 1880. We're trading at 17.7, so it's almost $400 down. I know it was something to do with somebody's, to be honest, I was involved in other things. I wasn't even at the office here, so I wasn't really paying attention to it. But I saw a headline, and the headline said something about, I guess there's somebody that had $16 billion worth of this stuff, and now he's down to $1 billion. So I'm not sure if he was liquidating. Let's see if we can find the story. Let's see, where is it at? Let's see, where's it at? It was on here this morning. Now I don't see it. Where is it? It was pretty interesting. It was something, I guess some fellow had 16, or at one point he had $28 billion worth of Bitcoin. Here it is. Sam Bankman-Fried. Nearly all of his $16 billion in fortune. We're guessing SBF is going to need some of that remaining $1 billion for legal expenses. I guess it's a fund. Maybe that's what it is. So this fellow had a fund of cryptos. And I guess they say at the height of it all was around $28 billion. And then I guess coming into yesterday, he had $16 billion, I guess it was. And I guess he got slammed, maybe it must be leveraged or something like that. FTX investors, I guess that's what it is. It's a fund. FTX Um, yeah. SoftBank Vision Fund, of course. Okay, so that's what that is. His fortune was 26 billion at its peak. So it sounds like a fund is going under, and a lot of these guys do that. They do heavy leverage, instead of using options. And the next thing you know is when it works against them, because they keep on buying more as it goes higher, not buy, the old classic saying, buy low, sell high. Well, a lot of these funds today love to do the opposite. They love to buy high and then buy it higher and then buy it higher and buy it higher. And then before you know it, when it backs off, you haven't bought a lot of cheap stuff. So all of a sudden you find yourself, you're moving your average of cost higher, not lower. The idea is to buy low, sell high, which means, you're buying at lower costs and your costs of the whatever you've been investing in is lower. So you have more room to maneuver, that type of thing. All right. Huh. Let's fix that too. There we are. There we are. And you can see right there, that makes a little bit more sense. And let's just make sure it's being fed. Yep, there we are. That's a line right there. All right, and that is Bitcoin. Now we'll get back to the pairs trades, and we'll go back to cable, or go to cable, because we just left the euro. But it was well worth, because the cryptos are characteristic of a currency, characteristic of equity. They're definitely an interesting product. We've been very supportive of them throughout the years, but I don't think you defy investment theory just because you like a new product. No doubt it caught up to where it belonged. In other words, the concept. And I saw a headline and a story, I guess it was about a week ago? Not even, no, it's even less. And I don't think I pointed it out, but it was like what cryptos are is really a condemnation, or, basically saying, I don't trust you central banks. That's what it really comes down to. And that is the story right there. That is truly the story, is that cryptos are the alternative to the central banks. I really have a hard time accepting the idea that somehow or another they're going to remove, sovereign currencies for some type of world currency. I just don't see that, because it doesn't make any sense. But they talk about it, and people act like as it's going to happen, and that the world is aspiring to it, but I just don't see it. I mean, can you imagine us all using, say, the Turkish lira as the world currency? Not really. Can't imagine that. And I can't imagine. I think that equities should be, in other words, get rid of all the corporations and just let's have, Earth Inc. And Earth Inc. will be a fund of all the stocks in the world. I just don't see that. I mean, it's a very bad way. I guess if you don't take individual investing, in other words, or numbers serious, then you can think that way. But if you take numbers serious, then you know that it's not logical. Not logical at all. So in other words, earnings don't mean anything, and sales don't mean anything, and inflation doesn't mean anything, and it goes on and on and on. It's like that type of thing. So that's growth policies, they don't mean anything. In other words, if they don't mean anything, then what would be the tool to measure anything? There would be no tool. Wouldn't make any sense right there. So, all right, from there, let's get that up on J4X, and there is cable. But we do hear these stories, and I just shake my head at them, because you're subtracting out physical reality, like earnings and sales, competent management, bad management, that type of thing. Now you can see here, green line's been moving along. We got 3 days of green there, And it's the same way over on J4X. I'm sorry, Chicago Quant, but we are dipping today. In other words, the dollar is stronger. I guess just seeing that mortgage rate jump up to 717, pushes some of the pairs trades to aim in that direction to go buy, not sell. All right. From there, we jump over to the Swiss. Swiss has been calming down from whatever issues they had. Seems like the Federal Reserve doing those pairs trades with them have helped out a lot, and we're not hearing as much as about Swiss, the commercial bank itself. It seems to be a little quiet. It has quieted down. Let's put it that way. All right, and you can see here we are flirting with no problem whatsoever with the weekly sell right there. That weekly sell is pressing. After, what's that, the 3, 6, 9, 10, 11 full weeks in buys. And there's your peak, basically, and now it's, we're coming into let's digest that a little bit and see where it goes from here. Let's see now. From there, let's see. Let's go from Swiss. Let's put that up on J4X too at the same time. There's Swiss. You see the 3 reds heading down. Let's move that up like that. And you can see we're at the bottom end of the range of the stochastics. And it's trying to make a little curve at the moment. Nothing over on our work. Actually, our curve is occurring there too. You see it right there. But notice that the actual currency itself is not moving back up. It's still down. And it's not hindering the slide into the sell side right there on the weekly. All right, and then from there, let's go from there. We go over to, where do we go from there? Let's go to Japanese yen, because the Japanese yen has been, kind of definitely flavored, It definitely has been following the action of the Swiss. They seem to have been working together in an odd way, away from the other pairs trades. And you can see here, heading down in a daily sell. And now we're actually seeing a flirtation with the weekly sell. We can put our little circly thing in there. Where's that at? Where's that little circly thing right there? There we are. And so that's where we're at this point in time. And that's what we're seeing there too at the same time, as we're seeing the yen move just like the Swiss. And it also has that interesting thing I mentioned yesterday. It has that head and shoulders pattern. In other words, maybe we're going to see this thing dive finally back down into like the 35 or 40 area. I think that was really, I know that the Federal Reserve was really trying to help out Bank of Japan, try to slow that expansion that got us up into the 50s, the 150s. That was the surprise of it all, is that they got up that high. I thought we were going to see 40s, but 44, 45. But then all of a sudden it started to launch itself and gave us that head and shoulders thing going on. That was the head, that 40s, that 50s trade right there. 151.94. All right, now let's see, where do we go from here? We head over. We go over to the Turkish lira. Let's take a quick look at the dollar Turkish lira. Right there. Let's widen that out. There we are. Might as well bring it all the way out. Let's fix this chart too so we can see it better. There we are. And you can see here on the, I guess we can make that thicker. Let's make that a little bit thicker. Let's see. Let's widen that out like so. There we are. And you can see in a cell from here, I guess it is. Where is it at? Right here? I guess that's where the cell was. And then, was that a plus? That is a plus. So it goes back into the buy and then back into a cell right here. And what's missing there? The fourth. Where did the fourth go? Huh. And then, oh, there's the fourth right there. And you can see the, what is that? 2/4. Doesn't make any sense. Let's see if we can adjust this. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. And so there's the sell right there, and then we had this just mild push down, but it's been hanging in this 18, basically like 19 to, basically 8 to 16. It's been very tight in there, and we are still, obviously, let's move that up. Where's the zero? There's the zero line right there. We are still flirting with, we're in the weekly buy. That's what it really comes down to. As much as you can see, the green line has broken the manifold right there. Can you see that? Let's move this over a little bit for you. So you can see it has broken that manifold right there. Now what is that? That is the ninth, yes. So we are seeing some weakness in here. Wonder how long that'll last. We're on the 40th week of being in a weekly buy in the Turkish lira. So, with the way interest rates are shifting all over the place, it's going to be very interesting to see how they hold up. I would say that Turkish lira does look that weak that it won't be as influenced by as compared to all the other pairs trades. Matter of fact, that's one of the oddest things of all right now. It seems like they've parked this product both in dollar Turkish lira and euro Turkish lira. It seems like they've parked it like right there, it's like in the 18s. I mean, it's like, and these panic sells have been someone coming in to sell it, and they're not giving them a bid for the size that they're selling, and so they've taken them down pretty hard, and it's been a real disappointment. It was one thing to have a wild Turkish lira, go from 1 to 18, but what's disappointing more than anything else now is the fact that the Turkish lira is at parity. The euro Turkish lira is at parity with the dollar Turkish lira, which means to me as a trader that there's some real concern about the currency. In other words, that money is not willing to participate. And so I'm imagining it's the Turkish central bank that's holding up both of them at this point. And the market forces are not really describing the issue. Oh, I just saw another part of that story about the crypto. Going down with SBF ship are investors like SoftBank Vision Fund, Teachers Pension Fund, which had $400 million invested in FTX at a $32 billion valuation. What? $400 million invested in FTX. That's what the fund that crashed the Bitcoin. So FBF had a 53% stake in FTX that was worth $6.2 billion, and now it's worth $400. Prior to this week's events, the other $7.4 billion of the fortune was tied up in Amida Research, which now appears to be completely insolvent. I see. So there are funds involved in that had billions in it that are now equal to $400 million. That's a pretty big. Just saw that on the tape there. Ouch. Wow, that's really wild. So FTX was a fund and investors, and the thing has gotten crushed. I guess there'll be investigations on that. Alrighty, so that's just another throwback to the to the crypto, and at the same time, again, very confused why we don't see normal trading anymore in the Turkish lira, be it the dollar or the euro. Neither of them are naturally trading anymore in this product. All right, let's go to, where do we go from here? Let's go over to the Canadian. Right, where's Canadian at? There it is, right there. There's CAD. They sold oil down last night after we had sent out our charts. They slammed it and pushed it down even harder. And we went into a daily sell, both in the front month and the back month. And so that natural trend of down, insinuating that or telling us that oil was going to go up in value has not paired up. That's why it's only about an 80% correlation compared to gold and the South African rand. Those two currencies we look at and compare them to commodities. And so there is that. Now here is, let me put Canadian up on J4X. Let's see, Canadian right there. And then let's put oil up on the screen. Let me just save this since we fixed it. There we go. There's crude oil. So they sold it down much harder last night after we'd sent the charts out. And then you can see here, it's a second day now on the sell, and they're flirting with no problem. And the green line is even going after the manifold, no less, right there. And it's going to be very hard for it to get a bounce out of that. All right, and then let's see. From there, we go over to the South African rand. There we are. And let's take a look at gold. There we are. You can see gold is still holding up. And they did run them up nicely. They did that. And we've been in a daily buy for 4 days now. And, that strength has been coming into the metals complex. Saw a headline yesterday. I didn't take it too serious. But who was just watching? No idea. Good question, Robin. Oh, the charting service is back up again, too. So I'm happy with that. I think I'll have a cup of tea. There we go. So the gold itself is... Oh, I saw the headline. That's what I was going to say. I saw a headline. They were talking 30% higher. You know what's 30% higher? That's $300. 30% higher. This would be in another maybe $500 higher. That'd be all-time highs, basically. We'll see. I don't have a lot of confidence that it's going to explode. I just expect it to be firm. I've been looking for firm gold for 5 months. Here the election has come. It's not ended yet, but it's come. And maybe they're trying to tell us that everything's going to play the way it is playing out right now, but nowhere near the victory that I was expecting. All right, from there, let's get back to... Oh, I noticed we go over to the last currency of them all, in the sense of south of the border. Let's see, right there, Mexican peso, doing a little bounce up. Like I said, they were anticipating that big victory also, and not happening. And over these last 2 weeks, everybody's been convinced it was going to be a major victory, and it's not happening there. But it is bouncing back up to the bottom end of the range, and you can see the weekly's turned, but it's not nothing threatening to go into a buy or anything like that. And that's how the Mexican peso looks this morning. All right. From there, let's see. Where do we go from there? We're going to jump over to the metals complex. And there's gold. And let's put silver up on J4X. There's silver right there. You see that's still climbing also at the same time. Down a little bit today, but still climbing in the sense of it's in the buy signal. And there it is right there. Same thing. I mean, it's not exactly being sold down, but it's holding up with the move. And again, their markets are waiting for the rest of the results. There's like about 7 or 8 major races, or I don't know, maybe it's even more than that. There's like, 35 House races that are still not clear who won. And there are about 6 senatorial races not clear who won. So, there's a lot of answers to be still. Matter of fact, it's even more than that the last I saw. It could be as many as 10. So markets are going to have to stay relatively sideways until they can get some clarity there. Because policies do mean something. Copper. There's copper. In that same situation. Just off a little bit, but not being sold down, and in the weekly still right there. All right, and let's put that up on the tape on J4X also. Right there, there's copper. And you can see all that green there. I'll move this over to there. 4 days of the green, same as us. Actually, we've had 5 days, which is kind of interesting. Copper, there's that big debate. Okay, so yeah, they're down to 96. Okay, so they got 4 seats they're still trying to figure out. And so they're still trying to, markets are not going to make any real dramatic moves until they can get some clarity on this whole thing. Interesting. All right. Where else do we go from here? We head over to, we were looking at platinum. It's today, Tuesday, right? Let's take a look at platinum again. Usually we try to do it just 3 days of the week, but I just want to see how they're thinking about it. Well, actually made a higher high today. That's interesting. Still very comfortable in its weekly buy for a 3rd week. Let's put that line in there. And this usually is a good leader to the metals complex in either direction, up or down. There we are. We got CPI comes out tomorrow. That'll be interesting. It'll be right at the end of the webinar tomorrow, the CPI. There we are. I see European markets are lower. Interesting. All right, from there, we slide over to the energy sector, and we've seen the spot oil right there, still down. Let's take a look at the back month. Right there, there's February. That's also down, and flirting with a weekly sell, just like the front month is. Now, let's go over to Brent and see what Brent is up to right there. You see it's come down from 98 to 94. So markets are still very hesitant. Now there's talk of the Arizona race not having a resolution until Friday. Yeah, Friday. That's what they're saying. And then we go over to natural gas. Right there. And natural gas slid into a sell also last night, which is a good thing for Europe. Like to see the natural gas prices come down. And obviously, we've been in that weekly sell now on this product for a long while, as you can see right there with the pink line. Let's put it up on J4X. And there we are. Yep. Look at this. Just slowly drifting as it has been for weeks upon weeks. We'll just move it over and show it to you. Natural gas has come down from almost $10 here in the States down to almost like a 50% drop. It got down, just didn't make it to $5, but it made it down to $5.50, which is been very good for winter coming on and have our gas prices dropping, and I'm sure this will help out Europe on some level or another. Now, from there, let's see, we got gas up there. We're going to go look at that Spanish corporation that, let's see, right there. And right there, you can see it's trying to perk itself up again into the 25s, a little bit higher. If it just stays in this 24 to 25 area, I think Europe is going to have a lot easier energy situation compared to what we thought we were going to see at the 2 months ago. This stock, as we've mentioned, it's one of the only ways we can follow European natural gas costs or values. Anyhow, that is the energy sector side of it. Now we'll go over and take a look at some stock indices. We saw what the Bitcoin looked like. And they're talking a lot about the races right now. And I'm trying to hear some of the stories about the races. Because once they resolve these races, then we'll have a better feel for the market. All right, so from there we go over to the S&P 500, right there. And you can see there it's just kind of still holding up. It's down very little. What is that down? 6 points or 7 points? It's down 7 points. So that's not too bad. And the weekly's holding up very well. And then we go over to NQs. And NQs tried. This is the Tech 100. The Tech 100, obviously, it's like Microsoft and all of them, and Amazon and so on. Let's fix that. There we are. There you go. There you go. And there you go. You can see, this is the NASDAQ, and it's still not in a weekly buy. It's tried a few times to get there, but it's failed. And so this is definitely a manifestation of interest rates. When you look at the NASDAQ 100, it's down like 30 some odd percent for the year, 35%, something like that. And like the Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 14% for the year. Now this is very interest rate sensitive. These companies are cash. They have heavy cash flow, but they're also cash starved at the same time. So that's why interest rates have a greater effect on them compared to the S&P 500 or the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Let's save this like that. There we are. Now, there we are right there, and that is the Dow Jones Industrial Average. There we are, let's fix that. There we are. And went into the buy. Let's see, let's fix that right there. File, save. Let's put that weekly buy in there. It's been in a buy for 3 weeks. There we are. I think it's 4 weeks using GAS 3. I think that's what it was. And I think I have 3.5 in there. So we'll have to go back and change that as time goes on. The Dow itself holding up pretty well. You know, I mean, it's what is that? That's it's 5,000 points basically off the lows. That's pretty good. 5,000 points, whereas what we just showed you on the NQs or the Nasdaq 100 is almost on the lows. Let's just go back to that real quick. You see it right there. I mean, the lows are 10,500, and here we are flirting with the 11,000 area. We're only 500 points away from that. And you can see there that that's a pretty. It's been beat up pretty well. There's no doubt interest rates have such a strong effect on this particular sector, and it's reflecting it very clearly. Matter of fact, where's the dots at? Let's put the dots in there too. There we are. Where are your dots? There it is. There we go. There's the dots now. A little interesting point is it's trying to get into a buy today. That's kind of neat. A little surprising there. Yesterday did yesterday get into a buy? Let's just double check that. Looks like it missed it by a hair. Yeah, I see it was minus. So it's really trying to get into that buy today. Let's move that up right there. And the weekly, again, same situation as we said earlier. But that is a real big difference, Only 500 points away from its lows of the last couple years, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average 5,000 points above, not 500 points. So I mean, no, this is an $11,000 product. The other one's a $30-some-odd thousand product. Even dividing it by 3, it's still $1,700 off of its lows compared to the 500 here. All right, now from there, let's go to NQs. I'm not saying NQs. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the NQs. The Russell 2000 right there. Let's fix this chart too. And that. And that. There we are. And let's get those dots in there. There it is. Cool. Yep. And it just... Did it get into the buy there? It did. No, it's a minus, isn't it? Is that a minus? No, it did. It jumped into a buy there. And right back into the sell. And now it's feeling the pressure again today. Something seems wrong there. Let's see if we can fix this. Let's try it this way. There we go, with a default. There we go. There you go, that's better. Yeah, so it went into the buy right here and popped up yesterday, and now it went into a sell yesterday. And the weekly's still holding up, 3 days in a buy there. Let's save that. And then from the 4 stock indices, we go over to the Bitcoin again, and we'll explore that area just a little bit more. That is amazing, though, that a fund or funds, in other words, obviously there's a legal going to be something's wrong. Let's put it that way. We'll have to see how that plays out with that FTX investors. but there's a lot of blood on the floor, as they would say. You know, when your portfolio is valued at 7.2 billion and now it's worth 400 million, it's a lot to lose. It's one thing to be, you know, valued at like 600 and vice versa. Now what happened there? Oh, there we are. There we go. So the you can see here, this is Bitcoin, and this is the futures contract, and there wasn't much warning at all. You know, we were curving down on Monday, no doubt about that, but that was all the warning we got there. Now, I was talking with one of the traders that used to do webinars here. He had contacted me every time there's a big move in the cryptos. You know, usually we communicate, and let's just show you. We follow Coin, the stock ETF, and that's been in the. Let's see, that's JDST. There it is, and it's. Oh, let's fix this too. Go like that. Put that in. And put that in. And we've been in a sell. Went into the weekly sell last week. We're in a daily sell from literally up in the 70 some odd dollar area, $73 area, and now it's trading at $47, just over the last what was that 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days. And so we've seen the pressure there. That you know, it hadn't surprised us, and you can see it wasn't a weekly sell for a while from the $90 area, and you know it's went down. Well, you know, they ran it up to there, and then now it's moving down slow and steadily, and it's been staying in a weekly sell for everything but 1 week. That was back a couple weeks ago. Went into a weekly buy and failed at the same time. You know, we went into a daily sell as we went into a weekly buy, because the weekly buy closed it here on this day, and at the same time. So we've never been able to be long this product. It's been telling us to be short from the day we went into the buy. Then the next following week we went into the weekly sell, and it's backed off from the $60 area down to 40. What's today's? Today it's trading at 48 basically. It's starting off in the 48 area. So, you know, this is Coin, the ETF. This is the Coin exchange. It I think it trades about 4 or 5 different cryptocurrencies, and obviously it's a much more solid product in some ways. Now, obviously, when we see the numbers from 90, I mean, where was Bitcoin back in was that September? Yeah, beginning of September. And we'll scrunch this up too at the same time. Yeah, matter of fact, in August this thing was up over $115. Right at the beginning of August. Now let's take a look at Bitcoin. Right there. And there it is. It topped out the same way in the 25,000 area, and has backed off down to the 17,000. So from 100, well, actually, the that's why I was saying is about the Coin ETF, and that is that it's more liquid and it trades much more accurate compared to the futures contract a lot of times. I mean, it's okay, the futures contract, but like yesterday, this is a heck of a blindside. They go from 21,000 down to 17,000 in 1 day, and it's 4,000 points. That's a lot. That's more than 20%. And whereas the crypto exchange itself, no doubt, has taken even a worse hit. You got to figure from 25 to 17. We've seen it go from 115 to 47 today. All right, so 115 to 47 is over 50% down, way over 50% down, almost 57% down for the same time period. Whereas 25,000 down to 17, that much, the same percentage down would have to be at 12,500. Another 5,000 points down. All right, and let's just get that up on this on J4X too. Right there. And the cryptos are, like I said, they're, you can see as I scrunch up J4X, I mean, they're down from the 32,000 area, down from the, just literally the high of, was that 50, I think it was like 50 some odd thousand, something like that, 47,000. So, yeah, I can see how that fund, the FTX, has gone from 47,000 down to, 20,000. That's, a 58% drop. And then someone woke up to it yesterday, or they were margined out of it, one or the other, and having almost $7 billion worth only 400 million, not even a billion. Probably has that particular sector totally freaked out at this point. And you can see that pressure in it today again, but at least it's not taking out the lows. And that's the good thing, is that you're not seeing a heavy follow through, just a follow through. So the cryptos are going to be very explicitly screaming at us one way or the other about where their heads are at. I heard somebody come on, or we watched something, someone was saying something about 12,000 crypto, 14,000, something like that. Someone came into the webinar and was talking about that about 2 months ago, and I thought, wow, that's a lot of damage. Well, obviously they're getting closer. If they can get, at the time we were bouncing in between 18,000 and 22,000. Now here we are sitting well under 18,000. And I imagine in some ways, if they don't get past 18.5, 19, you could basically count this this product could have even more problems. And now that we're trying to close into a weekly sell, we'll be watching the coin ETF. That's as far as I'm concerned, that's the leader. I mean, we see that right here, that the product itself over the same period of time, let's just widen it out. It started giving us warning signals literally over 2 weeks back. It was giving us solid warning signals under the weekly sell, under the daily, in the daily sell. So for the last 9 trading days itself, coin has been screaming at us, be careful. Be very careful. All right, any questions out there? I've got to figure out what the headline will be today. I was thinking about putting the cryptos in this just because of the conversation about the heavy, in other words, coin, something like the Bitcoin is outperforming coin exchange, something like that. Bring in the people who pay attention to the cryptos a little bit more, or I think that would be probably one of the safer things to call it. Comparing the Bitcoin future compared to the coin ETF, the stock. Alrighty, there we are. So now from there, I guess we will call it a day, and we will catch you all tomorrow. This is hump day already, isn't it? Wednesday. So we will catch you all tomorrow, same time, same channel, on Thursday. So this is Doc from North America saying, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. All right, traders, be very careful. Without the election resolved, it's going to be a bumpy ride.